Good morning, everybody. So I am coming to you again live from New Jersey. So as you know, we do this every Monday, and I am remiss very often because I don't tell you to like and share and do all that stuff you're supposed to do. Subscribe also. By the way, I'm Dr. R from FinTech Weight Loss. I'm speaking, of course, to our FinTechsters and any guests who are out there coming to you from our office in Cranford. We got a lot to talk about today. All right. First thing I want to mention to you is this: most of you listening to me are not eligible for our early Black Friday sale. Okay, you will be eligible for Black Friday itself, but you're not eligible for the early part. So be aware of that, please. Okay. Um, Secondly, it's getting fun now. This is the fun time of year, right? Everything is different. The weather is changing. Oh, and Jackie's going to be here, by the way. If you just tuned in and you're thinking, where is Jackie? She's going to be here. She's handling something right now. But this time of year is getting fun. Weather's changing. The color palette is changing. This is a challenging time of year. Here's where I'm going to do my scare care thing. Here's where I'm going to act like one of these chaos merchants on television who are telling you to be afraid of your shadow. I'm not going to go that far, but I want you to get the lay of the land. Here's where it stands. The number one day for deaths by heart attack throughout the year is Christmas Day. The number two day is the day after Christmas. And coming in third is New Year's Day. All right. Fact. Of all the weight gained by Americans throughout the year, and Americans are good at gaining weight, 51% of that weight is gained in the weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. So this is what we're heading into. We just came off of our sugar holiday, and that was fun. But we are heading into this time of year. I said this a couple of months ago. We were coming off a summer that was really the first true free summer that we had in 3 years. And people were acting like they were let out of a cage. No one wanted to be bothered with behaving themselves, with doing the right things. This is why we see Ozempic skyrocketing. We saw people going crazy. And it was not that long ago. It seems like it was yesterday, and now already we're into the holiday season. So everyone needs to enjoy the holiday season, but be aware of what we're facing. It's coming, and it's practically here. And by the way, Christmas decorations for some reason have been up since August. So explain that one to me. Don't call me while I'm speaking to people. Explain that one to me. I don't understand it at all. Let's see if Jackie's ready. Jackie, are you ready? Jackie's muted. Are you aware you're muted?
No, I'm not. Sorry.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good. I was just giving people the State of the Union address about what we're facing now. Everyone knows it, and yet everyone is surprised when they gain 8 pounds over the holidays. It should not be a shock. We know what we're heading into. We have to have a plan. The good news is I just got a text today from Emily. I don't think she's going to mind me saying this, but she said she just got back from a cruise. It was the only vacation she's ever had in her life where she did not gain weight. And she was eating. She was very satisfied. So it can be navigated, and people need to understand this. Now, Jackie, you have done something remarkable towards this end.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You've actually taken a hyphen and branded this month NO-VEMBER.
Yep.
Tell us about NO-VEMBER, what that means, and how we're going to use it to help everyone.
NO-VEMBER is a super important chapter. It is chapter 11 of this year of your book. This is the
Not my book.
Oh, everyone's book. Everyone's book.
Everyone's book, like the book of life.
Yeah. So our chapter for this year is coming to an end in 2 months. On to the new one. On for the new stuff. So no, this is the no quitting, no nonsense, no excuses, no giving up. No, I can't. No, it's too late. No,
Wait, how many no's are there? I feel like we should have just like three solid no's that people could sink their teeth into?
No excuses.
No
No
excuses.
quitting.
No
No
quitting.
nonsense.
No nonsense.
No nonsense.
There's
No
always time
nonsense.
for some nonsense.
Listen, when it comes to weight loss and being healthy in general, and this is something I say all the time, we can find any which way to get out of making a
Oh,
better
you're
decision.
just speaking in the context of weight loss.
But anything, anything. I
But
mean, if we're gonna,
nonsense it has to be allowed. There has to be some nonsense.
so you don't like that as my third no?
No, no, no. I like it in the context of weight loss, just not. I don't want to generalize it.
Okay, so what if we said also no guilty feelings, no guilt,
No guilt.
no
Ooh,
guilt,
I like that. So what do
no
we have?
guilt, no guilt. So no, not no. We're gonna do
You forgot.
yeah. Wait, no excuses,
No quitting
no quitting, and no guilt.
and no guilt.
No guilt.
What nonsense is allowed?
Nonsense. Listen, a little nonsense here or
A
there,
little
but don't feel
nonsense.
guilty over it. But don't feel guilty over it.
No excuses, no quitting, no
No
guilt.
guilt.
Do we have graphics that we can put up over here on the screen?
You just flash them over there. It's a hand
Yeah.
slapping. No,
It's a
no.
mantra. We're giving everyone I give mantras to our clients. But this is a new mantra. No excuses, no quitting, no guilt. It doesn't rhyme, but it's still pretty good. I got to give it to you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay. What and why do you say that? Why did this come to mind for you?
Honestly,
Were you using excuses?
no, not me. I finished program like about 20-ish days ago, give or take. So I can't say it's for me. But I will definitely revert back to that when I feel pressure in the next 2 months or so, because I have more that I want to lose. But I just think in general, coming across looking for just what are people's triggers, what is targeting them from not reaching their goals, not sinking in, not jumping in and saying, I'm going to start now, I'm going to do this, I'm not waiting 2 months. At first it was summer, then it was a holiday, then it was, I have somewhere to go. They always needed a reason or an excuse to get better, as opposed to having an excuse or a reason just to be healthy.
Right.
There's a very fine line into prioritizing why they want to be where they are.
Do we need to
And
get
then
tougher
there's
with
always the
people? Is that what you said? Do we need to
yeah,
get tougher with people? Or do people
I
need to get tougher
definitely
with themselves?
yeah. I mean, I think that like you're a glutton for punishment, like that, like they're asking for it. They know exactly what they have to do, and they come back, and I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Well, okay, good. So let's talk about this topic a little bit because, what I'm thinking of is remember that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he was on Wall Street and he
Wolf
just
of
played
Wall Street. Yeah.
the Wolf of Wall Street, right? So the Wolf of Wall Street was the story of this real life dude named Jordan Belfort. Jordan Belfort apparently, when he was like 30, made $49 million, and he was PO'd that he didn't make 50 that year. You
Yeah.
know, and he has a famous quote. He said, "The only thing that's between you and what you want is the bullshit story you're telling yourself."
True.
This is a no nonsense guy. This is a tough guy. Uh, I feel like people in general have become less tough, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen, there are times I can, talking the talk and walking the walk are two totally different things, right? I mean, I feel that as a mom to 2 young children, that's my weak spot. Where as strong as I feel I am and all that I do for my family, I definitely know what I have to do to maintain and do things best for me so I can be a better version of myself for my family always. And the truth is, I do allow weak times to get to me, or times that attack me in a sense, right? Where it's like everything's happening at once. I feel a lot of pressure, or the striving to always do what's good, or I drop the ball on something, and sometimes it hits me in a way where it's like everything comes crashing down. And sometimes it is not as easy to get back on the ball for myself, but I will immediately try to pick up the pieces for everyone else, because God forbid I let them down, right? I think where the guilt comes into play is that I'm not putting myself in the equation as part of the whole. I am doing it where I'm holding everybody up, doing everything, and not saying, oh, I'm supposed to be in that circle. not just holding them up. I have to be a part of it. So I constantly take myself as an individual. Don't worry about me. I got it. Don't worry about it, guys. I'll take care of everybody else.
Yeah, so
And then,
you can be solid for them, but less so for yourself. And we if we've talked about this once, we've talked about it 1,000
oh
times, right?
yeah, but it's
We think
it's
it's
always
not a
true.
it, we think it's not a sin when we're hurting ourselves,
Hmm.
not
Yeah.
realizing that it's probably the biggest sin, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
the toughest. It's the toughest one to overcome because
Hmm.
in the moment it's always too easy to say, "Okay, this is my choice right now, and I will deal with the consequences," even for things that like you would never allow to
Yeah.
happen for somebody else that you cared
Absolutely.
about.
Absolutely. Or the truth is, if somebody asked my opinion, I probably wouldn't resonate necessarily with them. I probably wouldn't agree. I'd probably be like, no, you have to do this for you.
Yes.
You know,
So
I'd be there
I
looking
have
on
to
my shoulder.
listen. I'm partly at fault in a way, at least with our clients, and I'm going to tell you why. So there are certain things that are true that I say that nonetheless people could take as reasons to not do something, uh,
Mm-hmm.
as reasons to not follow through, right? And I'll give you a couple of examples.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is we talk about cravings, for example, and we talk about it in the context of hormones. Now, that is factually true. It's factually true that, when your hormones are out of whack, when they're going crazy, they're going to continue to yell at you, and it's very hard to resist that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's also true that people can resist, at least for a little while. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also true that people need to be really tough and focused on fixing a problem if they have the problem that keeps on causing them to do something that's not ideal.
Yes.
So I feel like that's one way. Another way is just I like to get into the mechanisms of things. And that's an example right there, the hormones. But there's
Mm-hmm.
a mechanism that's bigger than a human being and their ability to decide and make a firm decision and stick to that decision regardless of anything else. We've all done it at times.
Yeah.
We've done it with ourselves. We certainly do with our family. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what you're suggesting is that ends right here and right now. In
Yes.
no,
I mean, I do. I really do feel, it's a pivotal time to, I know all of these things, that constant reminder. One thing we've always expressed is that we don't have the time, right? Time, nobody has time. Nobody has time. And the truth is we don't. It's not, we're all on borrowed time. And I think that it's so easy to make an excuse. You're going to turn around and look back one day and like, there is not much, you're in a different stage where you're not going to have that time to make these changes, to do those things. And it won't be, not to say it's ever easy, but as easy as it could have been. It doesn't always have to be an against the wind, uphill battle all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes if you just embrace it and say, you know what, I'm going to take full responsibility for where I am. And you know what? No one can take that away from me. So if I'm going to turn around and make a difference right now, it's on me. I'm not
Yes.
relying on anybody else to do so. And that's okay. That's okay. That's taking ownership of that. I think will give you so much freedom and honestly feel less heavier. It won't be as hard. It won't feel as
That's right, because yeah, discipline I think we think of and toughness as gritting our teeth,
mm-hmm,
as
mm-hmm.
opposed to just very simply in a relaxed way making a decision and supporting that decision.
Yeah,
Is our bond,
I
and
agree.
that has changed, and it's probably changed recently more so than at any other time. And again, I don't want anyone to hear this as an excuse. Just this is
No.
observation.
Yes.
The world has changed. A lot of the
Yes.
structure that we knew is gone. And
Mm-hmm.
we see that without structure, people tend to drift.
Yeah.
Uh, the world is not even the game of the world is not even played on the world. Everything is all
No.
internal, right?
Yeah.
It's with screens. It's not real.
Yeah.
Like things are not
Tangible.
as real as they used to be, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think takes away from people's toughness. By the way, I want to do a quick commercial break here. And
Okay.
I want to say this to the people who are watching or are going to watch. I've watched some lives recently, like other people doing the lives and whatever. I've seen some podcasts, and a lot of them just suck. Subscribe to this one, like so you get a notification. We send out notifications.
Yes.
I feel like we're doing things at a higher level. This is not a humble thing. This is, or maybe it's
Mhm.
a humble brag, but we're giving the data. Occasionally, we're interesting as well, and so I think that people should miss out on that, and they should share. And if they're watching something that does not consist of us, then maybe they should consider not.
Mhm.
Any thoughts about that? Just
I
yes.
like it. I
Just
I
you
like
agree.
it. I
Okay,
agree.
good. So getting back to what we were saying before, yeah, there are a lot of reason, and this is really important for people who look at it this way, right? Life is hard without architecture,
Oh, yeah.
right? Life is hard without guardrails. And in
Mhm.
many ways, that was taken away for a while. And
Mhm.
people have been struggling to reconstitute that, to
Right.
put structure back in place. And that's true about businesses, and that's true about individual lives. And we're seeing there are struggles because of that, right? So the only thing that we can do is to decide and have the decision be the structure, unless and until we can have some other guardrail in place. There are people these days, they find it harder to get out of bed
Mhm.
because they're working at home, as opposed to working in an office where they knew they had to get up and go. There are people these days who they don't know where they are, they don't know where they stand, they don't know what's coming, and it's very easy to drift. And I think as a society, we're probably drifting a lot.
I think that's yeah, that's definitely a good way to generalize why people are acting the way they are also.
But I feel like you're having a thought though, so out with it.
Yeah, because it's more
And the
I
light
feel
just came on literally for you.
yeah. It's more, people are definitely connecting with that more and then there's that sense of like what do I do? Like I have to react, right? Do I stay like this or do I make a move? Do I
Yep.
like where do we stand? Like what does that mean? And I think that the way things were in past times, and not to go so much about past and whatnot, because it's always good to go forward, but there was always a buffer. There was a bumper there. Now there's so much. So I hate to say lack of structure, but because there
I said
was,
that.
yeah, right. But I'm saying I don't want to say lack of structure because it's just a matter of the person that really can handle having less structure and what they do with it. But in executing, getting things done, and whether it be your health or your job or whatever it is, your family life, and balancing those things, a lot of people feel less driven because it just becomes very mundane. It's the same thing. They wake up, it's like, or they Groundhog's Day, right? Like they just get up, they're doing the same motion
Hmm.
all the time. And when it was structurally, like if you were going to an office when you're talking pre-COVID, right? And there was more interaction with people with less fear. There seems like there were so many more possibilities. You would just up and make a change and do that and just go for it. Whereas now some people are a little like so stuck in their ways, they're sedentary, they don't feel like they can break away. And
Yes.
they're afraid to make these changes. They're afraid to get healthy. They're afraid for disappointment. They're afraid that it's going to rock their boat and they have nothing to catch them. There's a lot of fear. And you would never think like, I laugh and I say all the time, like, no one's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so healthy and be miserable about it. Nobody's ever said, I can't believe I'm this healthy. I can't believe I look this good. I can't believe, like, no one's going to say that. I can't believe I made this much money this year. Gosh, I made more money than last year. Oh, like
That's
nobody's
okay.
saying,
Yeah.
those are not things that people talk about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it's there's a funny thing, right? So there's this balance between, freedom of choice, right?
Hmm.
We all want to be free,
Yeah.
but then when we have too much freedom, that becomes a different kind of jail.
Not everyone can handle it. Yeah.
Not everyone can handle that, right?
Mm-mm.
What happens when you have all the time in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of the drift. There used to be those guardrails that things
Yeah.
were known, right? Where is the sideline? If you're not sure where the sideline is, you don't know when you're inbounds or when you're out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
So we've been kind of ping ponging back and forth between that desire for total freedom and the desire to have some structure and some discipline. And what we've lost, I think, is the ability to create it for ourselves. So this is the month, this is the opportunity to say, okay, this is the standard. Like, okay, close your eyes. You don't have to literally, but imagine this, right? Imagine that everyone just took a moment to redecide what their standard is for themselves, for the people they care about, and they allowed nothing below that standard. Like that was it. That stuck. And that's part of what's going on in society now. I don't want to be one of these old guys, who says, you kids stink. You don't
Back
know.
in my day.
Yeah, back in the day, like I walked to school both ways uphill, 10 miles in the
Yeah,
snow.
yeah, yeah.
So it's not even like that. But the observation has been made that standards have changed, and I think that's true. You don't want to lecture people about it. People have
No.
choices, but
Right.
as something to consider, what if we all did that? We all just decided on a very high standard and stuck to it. What would be different
Right.
then?
What would be different? I just think that that's where we're at now. I think that if we learned anything, it's that we have zero control on everything outside of our body. Outside of our mindset, we have no control over anything but our own mindset.
Do you know, Jacqueline, that you are channeling a very famous and brilliant man, author, and psychiatrist?
Am I?
Yeah. So you want to read a great book? Everyone out there who's listening, you want to read a great book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
All right, then.
Viktor Frankl, and by the way, you can listen to it on Audible.
Oh, okay.
Viktor Frankl, uh, he was in a concentration camp. He was a
Oh,
Jewish man in Germany or Austria. He was in a concentration camp. Everything was ripped away from him. And his conclusion was, and he was able to find happiness while in a concentration camp,
wow.
which sounds insane, but his conclusion was the only choice that we have to make is who we want to be, is our own mindsets, our own moods, our own. We can always choose that, which it's just a fascinating thing. One of my favorite quotes, which I always butcher, I don't know it by heart, but I get the gist of it, is he said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is where you find choice. And in that choice is where you find your power.
Wow.
One of the most profound, true things I've ever heard. We don't realize that we're at that level where we get to choose. We don't have to be like push button mechanisms, right? Where our buttons are pushed and we react automatically. We
Right.
get to sit and decide and to choose how we want to feel, who we want to be, what we want to project. All of those things are within our control. They always have been. We pretend that they're not.
Right. It's true. We're so quick to have a response. You know, I want to start a diet, but someone else is doing good. Oh, I'm so glad you're doing well. I really need to do something, but there's
Right.
always there's always we constantly need some sort of response to why we're not in the place that we want to be in.
Mhm.
And it takes a lot of energy and effort to realize that the only thing stopping you is you. There's nothing else stopping you from making better decisions, healthier choices, or living the life that you want, that you want.
Yeah.
Truthfully. I mean, there are other factors. There are contributing factors. There are some people, many people that carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, you know, but there are some that still do so. And they have an amazing story and they're like, but I'm still grateful for today. I'm going to make it happen. So it's a matter of what side of the pendulum you're on. You need to realize that just sitting here complaining about it is wasting the energy that you could put towards making a difference in it. So
Absolutely. You know, there's a great word that has a really bad connotation uh,
what?
these days. The word is jihad.
Well,
We've all heard this word, and everyone thinks it means holy war, and it involves terrors and horrors and things like that. But really, jihad, the true meaning is the inner battle that everyone goes through, and our inner battle, or as we sometimes describe it and others do, are the journey. Right? It all starts with decisions, and then supporting that decision. That's the thing. I mean, the first thing is to decide to act, to decide what our standards are, who we want to be, what we want to have. But then after, it's that decision has to be made on a daily basis sometimes.
mm-hmm.
We talk about on the program that first barrier is, and the toughest part in a lot of ways, is the second day of the program,
Oh yeah.
because that's the easiest time to say, no, I'll
Mm-hmm.
start tomorrow. And
Mm-hmm.
you can start tomorrow forever and ever, right? As
Oh yeah.
opposed to realizing it's November,
Mm-hmm.
and just drawing that line and saying, I think it was Rocky said, there is no tomorrow.
Here's no
Uh,
tomorrow.
it's today. Today is tomorrow. Today is November, and you
Mm-hmm.
just apply those no's, right? What
Do
is
it.
it? What are the no's?
No quitting.
Yeah.
No. So why are you doing this to me?
Does the
See?
order matter? What do you mean? You created the no's.
But now you throw me up. I'm half in my coffee. See, I'm making excuses
You,
now.
I think I
No
remember.
guilt, no quitting.
Wait. Does the order matter?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No
Well,
quitting.
it's harder to use as a mantra if the order's not there.
So that if for reason we needed order.
I think it's
Rewind.
no excuses,
No excuses. No
no
quitting. No
quitting,
guilt.
no guilt.
I'm writing it down.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Look, I have a mic right here. Look what I'm going to do. Watch this. Boom. Mic drop moment. There you go.
Mike, you just mic dropped on me.
I
No
mic
guilt.
drop. I'm so glad my mic is made of plastic.
I
Actually, you know what? I have to bring in my better mic. I won't be able to do that with a better mic. So listen, I
Only
think
you
we
would.
should end off. We could beat this to death, but it's a very
No,
bottom line.
it's a very there's so many different ways you can go about it, and obviously we constantly we want to be as relatable as possible. We are people too. We are experiencing it. We see it every day. It's people we're talking about, and on some level, no matter what, even someone at their healthiest, completely fit, there's always some sort of being a healthier version or better version of themselves in some way. So this is just connecting all parts of our spirit. It's mind, body, and soul connecting, giving that energy to us feeling healthy. It does come outward to everybody else. And I think that just making better decisions and just stopping those excuses, taking advantage of other opportunities, do it for yourself. There's no other way about it. And this is something, of course, we said we could always talk about. But with that being said, this is the time of year to do it. If it was ever a concern, to come back to us. We are here for that.
That's right, because we have to make the decision, but that doesn't mean we don't need support.
Absolutely.
If you're smart about your decisions, it's smart to find support, right? I've decided to. I don't even know if you listened the other day. You weren't able to get on because
No,
of
I
technical
have no
issues.
service whatsoever.
Right. So I was talking about anemia. I've got it right now. It really sucks, right? And I've decided that I have to handle it, right? But part of the decision was finding a provider that can help me handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think we should underplay the role of support. It
Absolutely.
does matter. Support, guidance, accountability, knowledge, all of those things matter. We all
Absolutely.
need someone who is not in our own heads, which can be very frightening places at times, uh,
Yeah.
to tell us the things that we know anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a universal human need.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was well put on your part. Anyway, like I said, let's not beat the horse. Let's
Nope.
end off right now, and we'll see everyone next week.
Yes, we'll see you guys next week. Reach out if you need us. We're here.
Bye.